The Indy Fuel have just completed a very successful 2020-21 season, the 7th year for this franchise. I'm the broadcast voice of the Fuel, Andrew Smith, joined by the owner of the Indy Fuel, Jim Hallett, to look back on the season. Jim, always good to meet with you.
Good to be with you, Andrew.
As we look back on this year, last summer, we didn't even know if we were going to have a season, and it turned out the ECHL was the only professional league in North America to play a full season, a full 72 games. As you look back on the year, what are some of the things that you enjoyed, remembered, and some of the challenges this franchise had to overcome?
Yeah, Andrew, I think that, as we often hear, it was a year like no other. And as you mentioned, it was the only league that played a full season. And so the word I start with is grateful. I'm extremely grateful for so many people that it takes to make a full season like this happen. And I start with the ECHL in the league and our commissioner, Ryan Cralin. I think Ryan and his leadership and his staff did a tremendous job in doing everything they could to help us and make sure that we could provide a full season. And then you think about all the people that it takes. You think about, the employees, our front office. You think about the players and the coaches and the trainers and the equipment managers and the game day staff. All these people had to follow protocols, and we were wearing masks and we were social distancing, and we were doing everything that was recommended to try and keep our people as healthy as we could. So I thank our doctors and our nurses and our medical staff, all those, our trainers, our frontline workers. It takes a lot of people to keep us safe. And when you think about the players, think about the sacrifices they made. These players sacrificed a lot to be able to play hockey. They were in a bubble. They were wearing masks, as Doug said in his letter. 10-hour road trips wearing a mask to the rink and leaving the rink, wearing a mask between periods in the dressing room. It's a big effort, and it's a big commitment. And these guys committed, and they never backed up, and they never complained. And many of them didn't get to see their girlfriends or their wives or their fiancés over the course of the season. And then you think about our sponsors. Our sponsors continued to commit to us and sponsor us, not knowing if we were going to play a full schedule, not knowing how many games we were going to play. And then you get, obviously, you get to our fans. Our fans have been so loyal, so dedicated. And even though we were at 25% capacity, our fans made it feel like we were at 100% capacity. I think they cheered louder and harder and really encouraged the team. So when you think about it all, it takes a lot of people. And it takes a lot of discipline and a huge commitment. And it just makes me feel so proud of the organization and so proud of our league that we're able to pull it off.
As you look back on the year, one thing that you said last summer when we chatted, we really had no idea what this season was going to look like. The one thing we're not going to compromise is the fan experience. That we are going to make sure that our fans have the exact same experience that they have had for all 7 years, that the game presentation was going to be tremendous, and the game on the ice, as always, is tremendous. How proud of you are you of Larry McQuarrie and Dana Roth and the game day staff for putting on a great show every night for our fans and giving our fans a great experience?
Yeah, extremely grateful again. I think under Larry's leadership, we discussed, how we're going to make the season work, because no matter how good it was from a financial standpoint, we knew it was going to be very difficult. But one of the things that Larry and I discussed at length was our commitment to the fans and our commitment to the game day experience. As you know, I often say half of our fans come for hockey, and the other half of the fans come for affordable family fun entertainment. And you can't cut that entertainment factor. It's like I said many years ago, if you're going to a 5-act play, you can't cut it one act, right? And I didn't want to cut out any acts. And we questioned, can we continue to do the Flames every night? Can we continue to do the giveaways and the fan promotions and bring in the entertainment that we brought in? And we did it, and we committed to do it, and our fans got the full meal deal. And you have to always think, every game, there's somebody here for the first time. And that's the person that I want to remember the experience they had, and that's the experience that's going to bring them back. So again, I think Larry and the team did a great job.
On the ice, the team got off to a great start, won 20 of its first 25 games, clinched a playoff berth for the first time in 3 years, and also set a franchise record with 37 wins. What are some things you remember from the on-ice product? How proud you are of Doug Christensen and his staff for putting out a tremendous product on the ice night in and night out?
You know, again, I would go back to the thing I'm most proud of, is I'm most proud of the commitment they made to take care of each other, take care of themselves, and to take care of each other, not only on the ice, but off the ice as well, with the things that I mentioned earlier. You know, I think that we did get off to a tremendous start. We were healthy. We had a great camp. We had players who were committed to the organization. And it really gave us a lift as we got started through the season. And for the fans that were able to come and able to enjoy us, I think we give them some pretty good hockey and give them some pretty good entertainment right through the entire season. Especially when you win 20 out of 25 of your first 25 games. It's rather exciting for the fans. It's certainly exciting for the players in the organization. So that was a lot of fun, and you know, we continued things as we went through the season. We dealt with our share of injuries, our share of guys getting called up to the AHL, and that all took a little bit away from our winning percentage overall. But on the other hand, we are a developmental team, and we know what our job is, and our job is to get guys to the next level and to play in the AHL. And we're very successful under Doug's leadership again. We're very successful in having a number of guys go and play in the AHL.
And we had 17, as a matter of fact, that played both for the Fuel and the American Hockey League this season. What does that say to the caliber of player that Doug Christensen is bringing in and that our fans get to see night in and night out?
I think the biggest thing is if you come and play in Indianapolis and you're playing under Doug Christensen's got your best interest. He's very interested in getting you to the next level, very interested in how many call-ups that he can have, because it's really a badge of honor that, you know, you tell those players that they come here, how you're going to treat them, how you're going to take care of them, and how you're going to promote them. And as difficult as it is for our fans at times to see players go up to the AHL, and we miss them here, it's good for their careers. And, you know, again, that's what we do, and Doug's got a heck of a track record, not only here in Indy, but before he got to Indy, of being able to recruit and promote players.
Jim, one thing the Indy Fuel have done since the beginning has been to promote hockey at all levels, from grassroots hockey and learn to play classes all the way up through some high-level bantam midget teams, sending guys on to junior hockey and eventually on to college and hopefully to the next level as well. But what is the sense of pride, the sense of accomplishment you feel in the Fuel's initiatives to grow hockey at the youth level and build the sport at all levels throughout Central Indiana?
Yeah, Andrew, I think that's a really good point. You know, when we brought the Fuel to Indianapolis 7 years ago, it was about having professional hockey here, but it was really the opportunity to promote what I would call an alternate sport in this community. Even though hockey's been around for a long time, we know that hockey is not at the forefront of youth sports. And although what we've learned in recent years is of all the youth sports, hockey and lacrosse are two of the fastest growing sports. So it was really, have the Fuel is kind of, you know, the pinnacle sort of thing. You know, this is professional hockey, and something that the kids could relate to and something that they could aspire to be. And so we really have increased the number of families that are playing hockey. The Junior Fuel is a great organization. We're trying to replicate programs that are taking place in other great hockey markets, Chicago, Detroit, St. Louis, right? These markets have created great programs and great opportunities for kids to go on and play hockey, as you say, at the highest levels. So as they move through the organization, our goal is to obviously get them into the junior programs, graduate to the junior programs, then obviously graduate on to higher levels of hockey, and hopefully, as I've said in years before, have some of those kids playing in the ECHL or the AHL or hopefully the NHL. And I think we've done a good job. I think the folks at the fuel tank of getting kids to learn to skate and learn to play hockey. And when I'm talking about kids, I'm talking about boys and girls. And we're seeing more and more families, more and more girls hockey coming in. We want to continue to promote that. So get them involved in the game, let them learn to love the game, and watch them grow within the game and have opportunities. So it's really an opportunity to see a sport that hasn't been a traditional frontline sport here in Indianapolis really take off.
As you look back on this Indy Fuel season, as we turn our eyes back to the Fuel team, what are some of the takeaways that you take from this year? Some of your favorite memories and favorite moments from this season?
I got to tell you what, if I was to identify a favorite moment, this may seem like a very different answer for you, but it was after our last game. I was in South Carolina when we got beat by South Carolina 3-2, and we were eliminated from the playoffs. When I walked in that dressing room after the game, and I saw the emotion of those players, and I saw how much they cared, and how much they cared for each other, and how much they loved each other. And love is not too strong a word. There was a lot of emotion in that room, and there was a lot of disappointment, but there was also a lot of really caring about each other, and we did this, and we did it together, and we did it as a team, and we did it as a group, and I think they're really, really proud of their accomplishment, even in defeat, because quite frankly, of the 8 teams that went into the playoffs, any one of those 8 teams could win this championship. And you know, for me to watch those emotions and to really see how those players dealt with that, that was really a moment that I won't forget. As I say, you know, no disrespect to the previous 6 years, but this was the team that I loved and cared about the most. And it was only because that's the way it grew. It grew because of what we had to deal with and how we dealt with it. And I'm so proud of these guys. I feel like they're family. And I feel like these players, I will have a relationship with them for life, no matter where they go. I want them to remember their time in Indianapolis, because I'm sure going to remember this year in Indianapolis.
How much of that really creates a special culture and a foundation for next year and the years to come?
It's a phenomenal culture. Doug has really done a good job, along with Andy and and everybody associated with the team. You create a culture where people feel that they're really well cared for, they're well taken care of, we have their best interest, and we do everything we can to take good care of them. And if you look at this team, there's a lot of players that could be back. A very, very large nucleus of players that could be back. Some players will go on to play in Europe. Some could go on to play in other leagues. Some may make it to the AHL. And what we want for these players is we want the best. We want them to land wherever they can play the highest level hockey and achieve the best opportunity that they can achieve. But on the other hand, if they're going to play in the ECHL, we want them to think about Indianapolis first.
Next season is just 4 months away as we begin to turn our eyes toward October and the 2021-22 season. What are some of your final words for Fuel fans as we head into the off season and prepare for next year?
Well, I think it's just, thank you, and we appreciate you and appreciate everything you do. Our fans are so critical. Without the fans, there is no hockey in Indianapolis. And for the fans to come out during protocol and follow all the protocol recommendations, on masking and social distancing and all that went with that from the CDC. Thank you for being so disciplined. I had no complaints. I had nobody complaining about somebody not wanting to wear their mask, or somebody not wanting to social distance, or somebody not getting the same seat they had the last game. There was none of that. Certainly, if there was, I didn't hear about it. So with that is just, thank you for supporting us, sticking with us. We delivered. We made the playoffs. Would have liked to have gone a little bit further for you. But I know that we have the foundation that you talked about. And we have what I would consider, we have the pieces in place that can truly not only bring a great team to Indianapolis next season, but I won't be satisfied until we win a championship here. And as I've always said, I think that's what our fans want. It's what the organization wants. And we have the ability to do that. And I know close only counts in the horseshoes, but again, this season, as you saw, the first place teams have already been eliminated. The first place seeds are gone. And we're down to the final now. And we're down to the final, I think we're playing with a fourth place seed and a third place seed, right? So it says a lot about who gets in. Take a look at the Montreal Canadiens. They were the last seed to get in the NHL. And I like their position right now.
Yeah, they're in the Stanley Cup final as we speak, and it just shows this great game of hockey. Anything can happen. Just get in and allow the game to grow and allow your players and coaches to set them up for the greatest level of success, and then we can see what happens from there. And
yeah, the season is great, but there's nothing like playoff hockey. Live playoff hockey. It's a whole new season. And it's not a question of whether you finish first, second, third, or fourth in your division. It's just a question of getting in. Once you're in, it's game on. And next year, I hope that we take it a little bit further.
Jim Hallett, thank you so much for joining us to recap this season and look forward to next year.
Andrew, thank you. I enjoyed being with you, and I want to thank you for what you do all season long for the organization and for our fans and our players, along with your buddy Nick Olchuk. You guys are a tremendous tandem, and you bring a lot of pride to the organization, so thank you.
Well, it's an honor to represent this franchise and describe the games for our great fans. And thank you for joining us on this recap of the 2020-21 Indy Fuel season. Along with the owner of the Indy Fuel, Jim Hallett, I'm Andrew Smith. Have a great offseason. We'll see you in October.